All right, let him in. Hey Asa, how you doing? Nice to see you. Hey Charles, nice to see you there. Alrighty, good morning, everybody. Hope everyone's having a wonderful day, wherever it's the morning, like it is for me here in Bali, or whether it's, the evening time or early morning, depending on where you're coming from. So appreciate you guys being here. And I think looks like Christopher's still trying to connect to audio, so hopefully you'll be able to hear me in just a minute. We might have a few more people joining us. But some people might join later on throughout the day. So I think most of you know who I am. And really what we're going to do here today is, it's my promise for you over these next 2 hours is that I really show you the pathway forward and help you really understand what it really is going to take for you to be able to attract and create a healthy, happy, passionate, loving relationship in your life. Now, I am a relationship coach for gay men, and I've helped hundreds of gay men over the past few years to really find love. And finding love through self-love is really the key to really doing that, right? Because as we know, probably from past experiences, you may all come from different experiences for yourself. You might be someone who has never been in a relationship before, or you might have been in some previous relationships. Maybe they haven't worked out. Maybe they've been toxic relationships, right? And, you come here with different experiences. So everyone's going to have a different perspective of where they're at. And the thing is what I really want to convey, like I said, is my promise to you is that you really understand the way forward for you to be able to create that for yourself. Now, I've been able to use that in my own life, and I'm going to share that with a bit of my story a little bit later on, so you understand why I'm an expert in this area, but also why I've been able to help, like I said, hundreds of gay men over the years. And I'm going to share a few stories of my client success, so that you really understand that it works and that it can happen to anybody, because there are people who who would have probably come to me really believing that they weren't going to ever find it. I've helped people who were as young as 21 all the way up to people who are 69. Right? So it doesn't matter on age. I've helped people from all over the world. I've got clients in the US, Canada, Australia, Europe, right? So it doesn't matter where in the world you are, the formula works. And what I want you to come into today with is, one, open mind to really take on and understand this process so that we can help you, right? Because I know you've come here for your own reasons, which I believe is to truly find love. And like I said, it's my mission, my purpose, and what I, feel like I've been put on this earth to do is to help other gay men, because I know the struggle of loneliness. I know the struggle of what it feels like to feel no self-worth, to feel like you're probably going to be single for the rest of your life. And you may not look at me online and think that that's where I came from, but that's actually where I came from. And I'm going to share that with you shortly. So, who am I? Like I said, I'm a relationship coach. I've been doing this for a number of years. I have helped hundreds of gay men over the years. I have a master's in neurolinguistics programming. I have a counseling degree, and I've got years and years of experience researching gay men throughout my business. So I really know what happens. And I know, so I'm going to share some statistics with you a bit later on as well, so you also can really understand, how it's different for us as gay men, right? Because it has been different for us through our experiences. And when we look at the numbers, in general, about 33% of the population suffer from loneliness, right? 70% of gay men suffer from loneliness, more than double, right? So those numbers are crazy, right? When we look at, you know, also numbers of people who are actually not in relationships, about 29% of the world's population are not in relationships. This is for adults who can be in relationships, right? But when we come to the gay community, it's 52%. So again, some high numbers, and I'll jump into more of the statistics a little later on. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my slide with you. Let's see if this is coming up. Can you see my slide there, which is just this? I'm going to go in and I'm going to really jump in and talk about what are the intentions that I want to get out for today, right? Obviously, like I said, number one was the promise, showing you how to attract and create healthy, happy, passionate, and loving relationships as a gay man, right? And in order for me to be able to show you how to do that, I'm going to have to share how I did it for myself and how I've helped many of my clients, right? So we're going to be going through that today as well. I want you to leave here with notes. So if you've got a pen and paper or something, take notes, because the idea is I want you to become a master of your relationships that you're going to have in your life, right? Because again, when we talk about relationships and the skills that we're going to learn here today, great. I know that the intention is all for a partner, which is amazing, which is what we're going to focus on getting. But the thing is, when we master relationships, also all of the other relationships in our life improve, whether that's with our family, whether that's with friends, whether that's with people in our community, whether that's with people we work with, colleagues, clients, whatever it is. When you understand the principles here and work on those things, you will also be able to become a master and improve the other relationships in your life, which is, again, an added bonus to what we're working on today as well. Also, you know, it's important that I believe in community. And like I said, I work within the gay community for a specific reason. So for me, helping you guys to connect to supportive people within our community, other people who are here who are looking for exactly what you want. So when you see other people here, there's going to be time later on for you to, you know, ask questions and share. I want you to support each other, because that's the kind of community that I want to build. And I'm sure that's the kind of community that you are wanting to be a part of if you aren't already, right? Let's build each other up, because the more we build each other up on this journey, the more likelihood we're going to be able to help each other up, right? There's no point helping people push people down. It's only a point in helping other people raise their standards, because if we raise everyone's standards, how much of a better community will we have, and how much will it be better for us and the people around us, right? So leaving a legacy as well for that as well. Also, my intention is to, I know that some of you coming here are coming here with a place of curiosity and also wanting to, you know, maybe look at getting some additional support. So I also run these things to also find my ideal clients who are really looking for that next level of support and mastery in finding love, right? Because I can only share so much in these 2 hours, and I'm going to give you everything that I've got today. But there's also a point of knowing that 2 hours is never going to give you a whole smorgasbord of everything that I possibly have. You know, I've got hundreds and hundreds of hours of trainings that I've done. So 2 hours is a great connection and a great start. And we're going to give you exactly a focused look on what you need to do. But again, some of you will want more, and that's great. And I'm looking for the people who really do want that help, because that's my mission and my purpose here is to do that right. Also, today I want to make it fun and informative. So I might be joking, I might be cheeky, I might be a bit like that, bit of humor. So know that I'm not doing anything out of trying to be rude or crude or anything. I'm just adding in a bit of reality from my experience and purpose. So that's just a bit of my personality as well, because I like to make these learnings, these trainings, these masterclasses fun, because when we engage in humor and fun, we actually learn more as well. So knowing that if it comes like that, take it all on board and let's enjoy this together and have a fun time, because I love what I do, right? I'm here with you guys for the next 2 hours. And then, like I told you before, it's my promise to truly show you a clear path for success in finding long-lasting love, right? Long-lasting love, not a partner for, a month or 6 months. We want long-lasting love where we're in a partnership with someone, right? Because I don't know, like I said, if you're like many of my other clients that they've maybe only been in a small relationships, here and there for, a couple of weeks, a month or 2 months. That was me. Again, when I get to share my story, you'll understand that was me to a T. Here's a little bit about, the steps to success that people work on when they come to programs like this. As you can see, there's a few different options that people have that people work through. There's an online program, which has hundreds of hours of recordings that people can get into and really take it at their own pace. I run full-day immersive relationship summits, meaning that we come in and we focus on a full 8 to 10 hours of really how you can really attract that partner and what you need to do. Because like I said, when we understand the principles, which is what we're going to do today, that next level at the relationship summit is actually all about you actually doing the work so you find that partner. And I've had people who leave there and within a month, they're in a relationship. So there's great results that come when we put in an immersive full day into really doing the work there. Then there's also a group program that people come and join, and they come and join my program every week. We talk about different areas that are going to help them create the love and life that they desire. So it's with a great group of men. Again, that's for people who are really looking for community and looking to do something and share in that and grow along with me and the other gay men in the group. And then for people who really want that deep work, we have a one-on-one program, which is a literal life transformation. This is all about looking at every single area of your life. We focus obviously on relationships because that's really going to be the key to changing other areas. But we look at your wealth, your health, your career, your business, your family, all of the different areas, your self-care, everything. And we really give you the life that you want to have. So that's what kind of the steps to success look like for people who work with me. I just wanted to give you a quick overview in case anyone was curious. So really today, like I said, there's going to be something big and exciting that I do have for everyone who attends and stays to the end. So do stick around. I've got a great brand new offer that I think is going to be super helpful, and I'm going to explain a bit of that later. But before we do that, we are going to jump into the content so that you can get what you came here for today. And I deliver on my promise of helping you truly understand the pathway forward to creating and attracting healthy, happy, passionate, loving relationships in your life. So like I said, here's a quick run through what we're going to do. I'm going to be sharing a bit of my story shortly and why I am the expert in relationship coaching for gay men out there. I'm also going to share with you about 10 to 12 reasons why gay men do fail in finding long-lasting love. Like I said, I've researched over the years hundreds of gay men, and I've got the data to prove why a lot of people fail. And what we're going to do is understand that, and then once we understand that, we can work on a plan of how we shift and change those things as well. So stick around for that. That's a really important segment as well. Then what we're going to do is we're going to jump into the 5 foundations there to create you a healthy, happy, passionate relationship, right? So it's going to dig into the 5 key foundations that you need to know and understand if you really want to have that relationship in your life. Like I said, I'm going to share a brand new, amazing opportunity for people who stay to the end. And then right at the end, there is going to be about 20 minutes. And that's going to be the opportunity for any of you guys to ask any questions directly to me. No questions off limits. And, having that opportunity to ask questions to me live, my clients pay thousands of dollars to do that. So this is a great opportunity. So if you've got a question, don't be afraid, because I want to make sure that you leave here knowing that I've given you everything. So that's the plans for today's masterclass. Now, if you really commit yourself to this journey, then what can you expect? You can expect to create that healthy, happy, passionate, loving relationship. And on top of that, you'll be able to really realize that if I only came here and I learned that I was able to fully love myself and accept myself and be in a place where I accept myself fully, that would be an amazing experience. Put your hand up if you agree if that was key. Like, that would be great for you to fully accept and love yourself, right? That's the beginning of the tip of the iceberg, because what you can expect if you commit yourself to this journey is that, but when we get to that place, that is the key for us to be able to attract the relationship that we really love and deserve. So like I said, you committing yourself to this journey and being here today, I put my hands up to you because we put these on every month. And, you know, I think we had almost 30 people that said yes. Now, we often have some large groups and sometimes we have small groups. This month, it looks like there's a small group of us, which is totally fine. I don't mind because I show up and I deliver no matter what. So I want you to say, give yourself a big pat on the back because you coming here today has committed you that's a commitment for you. And I want to honor you. So I show up and give 100% if there's 3 people in the room, if there's 30 people in the room, because I believe that it's my obligation to you guys to really be at my best for you. So, and the good thing is when we have a smaller group, that means you get more time for your questions and answers as well. So it's great that you've committed yourself because a lot of the time, the biggest thing that people fail on, which what I'm going to share on a bit later on, is they fail to commit, right? They fail to commit to taking the steps forward. They say they want a relationship. They say they want to be happier, but then they blame everyone else why they don't have it, why they're not happy. They don't go out and change things. So you've come here to do that. And so that is the key. So committing yourself to this journey is going to give you the self-love and it's going to give you the pathway forward for you to attract that relationship that you really deserve. So I wanted to ask a few questions to start with before is because again, I'm sure knowing, like I said, from my research, that most people are going to fall into one of these categories. So are you a gay man who's been single your entire life? Have you ever only been in short-term relationships? Have you been stuck going on dates with the wrong people and they just never go anywhere, right? Have you been in toxic or unhealthy relationships, right, with other gay men? Yeah? I can see nodding heads. I know all of that, right? Have you noticed that you've been dating the same kinds of men, right? You're seeing a pattern with someone that you're dating. It's constantly the same thing that happens over and over and over again, right? Or have you been in a long-term relationship and it's lost its spark, right? Now, I'm going to say the majority are in the top few, right? Because that's just from the statistics. I know that's to be true. But there usually generally is someone who's been in a long-term relationship and it's lost it and they're kind of deciding, do I want to continue or do I want to go on and move somewhere on? So those are the buckets that we've had, right? For me, as you can see here, on the left here, I was the perpetual solo person. Trying to always date people, I would struggle to connect and meet people, right? I had lack of self-worth. Growing up in school, I got bullied every single day, severely bullied, right? I grew up in a place that really was a bit backwards as well. And because of that, I got bullied, pushed around, picked on, ganged up on, beaten up, all of the things that happen, right? I've been called all the names under the sun, and it caused a lot of fears within me. It also caused me to stop believing what those people said for many, many years of my life. I had really low self-worth, low self-esteem. The word self-love, didn't know what that meant. All I felt was self-hatred because I would wake up and I would try to go to bed every night dreaming that my life was completely different and waking up realizing, oh my God, it's the same old shit that I have to deal with. So after school, I got into deep depression and social anxiety and even to the point of suicidal thoughts because I had 0 friends and I was struggling every single day, right? And because of all the things that I'd gotten bullied on, I wasn't close to my family because I was afraid that if they knew or found out any of those things, that they would also hate me too, right? And if they did, then taking the step forward to actually go ahead with suicide probably would have happened, right? So the fact is that that went on for a number of years. And then when I actually did finally come out, it was a really difficult, struggling process. But luckily, I wasn't too far away from a big city, which was Sydney. And because I was close to Sydney, I got to kind of understand about the gay life. But me getting into the gay life in a big city meant that I got caught up into the party scene, meaning that I was in and around alcohol and drugs. And I was in that scene for well over a decade of my life. Now, throughout that period, I would try and date people and meet people and connect with people. And again, I pretty much was single my entire life. Every time I would date someone, it would be the same kind of person, no one who could handle themselves, someone who always had a problem. And it was almost like I was meeting other people who were reflections of me, right? Shy and not self-aware, kind of, like I said, I've had problems with party people and just wasn't able to connect. So it would always inadvertently go wrong, whether that was because of self-sabotage or because the other person would either ghost me or something would happen, right? So this went on for years and years and years and years and years and years, right? Well over a decade of my life, right? And again, I'm sure you can probably relate to that, where you might have, like I said, been trying to date and you either gone in and put yourself in different situations. I would be the type of person that would go out a few times a week, and every time I would go out, I would just hope that tonight would be the night that I met someone. Maybe tonight will be different. Maybe tonight will be different. Maybe tonight will be different, right? Now I can see some of you nodding your head, because maybe you're realizing that maybe tonight will be different is also something that you've gone through in your life, right? Or the thoughts that have gone through your head. But for me, tonight never was different, because I was the same person going into those experiences. I didn't change. I kept thinking that if I kept doing it and kept doing it and kept doing it, kept doing the same things, that I'd get a different result. Now, I'm not sure if you've ever heard of the saying that they say insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. So if under that assumption, then I should have been put into an insane asylum, because I probably did that over and over again 100+ times, right? To lock me up and call me crazy because I was doing that same thing. Again, every time I did it, I had also had the beliefs that this isn't going to work out, but let's just see. Maybe tonight will be different. My beliefs were that I was never going to find someone, that I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't happy, that I didn't deserve it, right? Now, if I have all those beliefs, I'm not good enough, that I'm not going to find someone, that I don't deserve it, that I'm not I'm never going to be happy. Do you think that I'm going to attract someone who is healthy, happy, passionate, loving, someone who's in a great place, who's ready for a relationship? Probably not, right? I was attracting other people who were like me, who were in that toxic mindset, right? Of I need someone else to love me for me to be able to love me, right? If I need someone to love me, in order for me to love me, then what's going to happen is every time someone doesn't love me, I'm going to hate me as well, right? So I went through a cycle, went through a cycle, went through a cycle, went through a cycle of, again, looking for approval, looking for acceptance, looking for validation. Now, I shared with you some numbers before. 70% of gay men suffer from loneliness. 52% of gay men are single and looking for relationships, right? Those numbers are, like I said, almost double the general population. But when we look at some other numbers, bullying, we are twice as likely to get bullied than straight people. So that means that 45% of gay men will get bullied in their life. Again, 3 times more likely to suffer from anxiety, depression, or suicidal thoughts. So what does that mean? That means that 50% of gay men will suffer from depression. 60% will suffer from anxiety. 1 in 10 will think about or attempt to commit suicide, right? And what leads from this? 1 in 3 gay men suffer from an addiction, whether that is alcohol, drugs, sex, porn, food, you name it, they happen. These numbers are so much bigger than the straight community because of what we've had to deal with. A lot of the internal battles, right? The internalized stuff that happens and the homophobia we might receive from other people, which can then lead to a level of internalized homophobia where we wish that we weren't gay. And then because of that, we suffer and struggle with our own thoughts. So no wonder we have all these higher numbers in our community when it comes to mental health, because we've gone through so much. When we are forming our brains as well, through our younger years, right? We're growing and developing throughout those years. If you go look at all the different developmental stages, and we are suffering through this, it's almost like this is what we're used to. So getting to a place of not suffering or not sabotaging or not thinking that you deserve nothing can be really hard, right? And it takes a lot of work. So what happened to me? I went through those, like I said, for well over a decade of my life. And it was only when I got into my early 30s that I really started to go on a journey of self-discovery, right? Throughout that stage, I had, done my counseling degree, but I started traveling around the world on my own. I went to different places, trying to go on spiritual journeys because I thought, you know what? If I'm going to be single my whole life, like, why don't I start focusing on me and trying to be happy at least, right? Because I've tried to find a partner for well over 10 years, never found anyone. So I was going to give up on that. I was going to give up and just solely just focus on, me. So I went and I did all of these different things. I went on different trainings, different retreats, went to Peru, like really went on a deep, powerful spiritual journey to the place where I got to where I realized that, I had healed some stuff. I had shifted some stuff. I'd let some stuff go. I got the weight of the world off my shoulders. And when I was able to do that, I was able to see things clearly and realize, hang on a second, like I've been looking for everybody else to love and accept me in order for me to love and accept me. And now I'm starting to love and accept myself, and I'm realizing maybe I've been going about this the wrong way, right? So what did I do? I kept working, I kept learning, I kept growing, and I changed my whole life around. So I went from someone who was really high up in corporate, I had a team of 300 people that I led. I was really good at communication and leadership and all those skills. And I started to apply those skills to my life. I said to myself, like, if I look at my life right now, what would I say to some of the people that would come to me for advice? I started to say, be true to yourself, follow your heart, do the things that make you happy. And when I realized throughout that experience, that was me needing to step away and trust myself and open my business and start helping other gay men. Because I've been through 10, 20, 30 odd years of pain and heartache and torture. And I wanted to try to save other gay men from going through that themselves, or not necessarily save them from going through it if I couldn't, but also help them to come out of it the other side. Because I don't want to be, seeing that we suffer 3 times more likely with depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts, right? Like, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see those numbers so high. So my mission is to reduce that. And I went on that journey. And because I went on that journey and I took away the focus of looking for a relationship, I actually came to a place where I moved overseas, and I finally moved away from Australia into to Bali, because I'd been to Bali a number of times. It felt right for me. And I met my partner, my loving partner, who I've been in a relationship with now for over a year, right? Someone who is the person that I had been looking for in all of the categories, right? Someone who was kind, who was loving, who really knew himself, who wanted more out of life, who had all of these qualities as a person. That was what I was looking for, right? And if I was in that place where I was in that toxic place where I was still needing him to love me for me to love myself, he wouldn't have been a match to me, right? Because I would have been too needy trying to go into a relationship with this person who's already in a better place than that, right? So for me, I had to do the work on myself in order for me to take steps forward and move away and find someone who was exactly the match for me. Now, I'm not saying you need to move away to find that. But what I'm saying is you do need to get to a place of realizing that what is the relationship that I want? If I want someone who is loving, who's kind, who's happy, who's healthy, who's not a toxic person, then I also know that I can't be any of those things myself, right? I can't be toxic and be in a relationship with someone healthy, because healthy people don't want to date unhealthy people, right? They don't want to date unhealthy men. It's just reality, Happy people don't want to be in relationships with people who are really sad and depressed all the time. It just doesn't happen, right? People who are healthy and focused on their health and don't want to be in relationship with people who are alcoholics or take drugs, right? All of those things that I was doing, I was attracting other people who were like that, and then I wasn't getting any relationships that were worthwhile because they were in that place of pain, right? And so I was constantly becoming a match to those people in my life, right? So I had to make the shift, make the changes, and start focusing on me, right? Now, it's a journey. It's an everyday journey of self-love. It doesn't just happen overnight and say, look, I love myself fully now, because Tomorrow, something can happen and you can go back into old thought patterns. It takes continual work and continual practice and things that you need to do, right? When I talk about looking at the wheel of life and really focusing on really making sure that your life is sorted out and happy and clear, right? We look at every area and say, hey, look, are you happy here, here, and here? Are you happy with your health and fitness? Are you happy with, your career that you're doing? Are you happy with your family relationships, your friendship relationships? Are you happy with how you've been dating people? Are you happy with the self-care that you have, right? And if we realize that when we do this, that there's areas that are out of balance, what happens is once those things come out of balance, we don't focus on that, they start to affect the other areas of the life, right? So if we don't have good self-care and we're always at the top of our level when it comes to stress and anxiety, how can we then be good enough to be able to give and support other people when we're at our lowest point energetically? So you see, when we look at the wheel of life and we focus on working all of those together, we get to a place where love comes through, self-love. And then what's the most sexiest thing that people say they have out there? Confidence. You start being a confident person within yourself, because confidence isn't about showing up saying, yep, I'm really good at this, I'm really good at that, or look at me, or whatever. The confidence that people like is people who really know themselves, people who know who they are inside and out, and are accepting and loving of themselves, knowing that I am never going to be perfect, but I'm going to work hard to be the best person that I can be. That's the most attractive quality, right? That's the true confidence that we want to talk about. So that's the level of growth that happened for me on my journey, which is how I became a personal expert and really understood the personal journey of how I got there, because I got there myself. But going further into that, here's a couple of my clients that I've helped over the past couple of years to really, truly find love. On the left here is my client, Rob, right? Now, Rob came to me probably about, a year ago. And when he came to me, Rob had been, had some health issues and had, also been through some pretty traumatic events when it came to previous relationships, meaning, sexual abuse, etc., like that. So he was in a place where he'd completely almost pulled himself away from dating and was fearful of ever getting connected to men again, right? He'd been in relationships again, but all of them had been toxic, right? Every single one of them, his relationship had been toxic. So he was just fearful again of getting into a relationship again. So I worked with Rob for, probably about 7-8 months. And we did a lot of work, both in group and in one-on-one work, where I was able to help him, through my master as NLP practitioner certification, do some stuff where we actually cleared out his previous trauma, because that's a lot of what we do as a coach and as a facilitator, is helping people to really move past their past trauma. And because he had trauma around his body and relationships, he would not go and date anybody, right? He wouldn't date anyone. And it'd been about 3 or 4 years. After we started working together, like I said, it was about 3 months into it, he started putting himself out there again. He went on to the online apps. He started to chat to people. And what he actually realized is that there was a person that had been in his life who was a friend that, because he'd done the work on himself, he realized, oh my God, this person is actually someone who I would like to date. And so he pursued a person who was a friend of his and got into a relationship with him, right? Never once before had anything inkling of thoughts or of it being anything other than a friendship, hadn't. But because he did the work on himself and cleared out this stuff, the blockages of his past and his self-love with him, he started attracting things on a different level, right? He started to connect to people on a different level. So his friendships improved, but because the friendship improved, it also allowed him to realize that this person was the right person for him. And now they are planning on, they live in, in the States, and they're actually planning on, when they get to retirement age, to move and retire in Spain together. They're going to get a house together in Spain. So these are the things that can happen when you focus on yourself and do the work, is that results can happen. For someone who's been out of the game completely and was afraid of even going there because of the past trauma, within a few months, dating again and found someone who he now is going to want, who's working on spending the rest of his life with, right? Ron, on the other hand, on the other side, Ron just turned 70 a few months ago, and he'd been my client for quite some time, worked with me one-on-one and in group. And he came to me. He'd been married to a woman for most of his life, had a family, everything, right? And it wasn't up until about, mid-60s that he really realized, like, I can't keep living a lie. He knew that he was gay, and I think most people around him knew that he probably was, but because he had a wife and kids and a family, lived a normal life, no one questioned it. But, but for him, he had to come to a place where he was like, okay, I'm 65 years old. Do I want to live any longer of my life really not being true to myself, right? And when you live, I guess 60 odd years trying to be something that you're not, it can put a lot of, again, it can numb you a lot, right? You numb yourself from all those other feelings, right? So when he started to get into, that, and he had to have the deep conversations with his partner and all of those things, and, then eventually got a divorce just recently, it was tough for him because he'd never dated a man before. He'd only, I think, had a few young kid-like flings with boys in school, but for 50 odd years, he was with his wife, So for him, we had to really work on really changing the way that he thought about things. And he had an idea of what he wanted a relationship to be because of marriage and that. But realizing that when he started dating people that he wasn't finding anyone who had that same perception. But he also came into it really just still not fully dealt with all of the stuff that he'd been through, 30, 40 years of marriage and repressing his feelings, right? Because as we know, we as gay men become masters of repressing our feelings, especially in those younger years, right? We don't want people to see us as this way, so we have to hide and repress who we are, right? I think you can all relate to that, right? It's a common thing. So when it came to that, we had to work through that stuff, help him through that. And, we did a lot of work similar to what I did with Rob and helped him through some of his past perceptions, changed the way that he thought about things and saw things, and allowed him to see things in a different light, right? So meaning that he could actually go, okay, instead of trying to recreate my relationship with my wife with another man, how about I start to look for and create a new kind of relationship? Because it doesn't have to be the same thing. Every relationship will be different. He had to get that into his mind because he'd only ever been in one relationship his whole life. So when we were able to shift that, he started to allow different kinds of people into his life, because before he was like, no, you're not falling into that category. It's a no, it's a no, it's a no. So he was cutting, 95% of people off from the get-go. What happened is when we opened his eyes up, started to see different people again that he would have normally said no to. And from going through the process of dating, he dated a lot. He really enjoyed himself, I think, felt like he was a bit of a teenager at times, because he was really starting over again. But he got into a relationship with someone, and he's been dating that person for now, I think 7-8 months now. And they went traveling overseas together to England to meet his kids' family and everything. So creating a life together with another partner. So these are are the things that happen when you work on the things. Because what I find that a big thing with my clients or people that come to me that are looking for love is that what they think is the problem is never really the problem. It's their perceptions of those things that are becoming the problem. And if we have a narrow kind of view of how we expect something to be or how it should be or what we need it to be, and we don't have our eyes open, we can't always find out the real truth. That's why when I help people, it's like I actually get them to it's almost like they come to me closed eyes, and I get them to open eyes and see things, because the number one thing people say is, oh my God, I didn't think of it that way. Oh my God, I've been trying it that way for so long, and it's not been working. And that was me. The reason why I can say that and be proud of that is because I was the person. I told you I did the same thing over 100 times, probably trying to find a partner. Insanity, right? Now I know those things inside and out, that I can pick them up in people like that. So again, this is some stories that I wanted to share with you with some people that really have just been able to do the right thing and find love, which is what, again, I believe is possible for every single person here as well. So here, let's jump into, the reasons why gay men do fail in finding lasting love. And again, some of these are probably going to be related through some of the stuff I was sharing about my story and the short stories of my clients. But number one is, again, if 1 in 3 gay men suffer from addictions actually cause loneliness, right? If people are addicted to things like alcohol and drugs.
Not me.
Oh, someone unmuted there. Can you sort that out for me, Anil, please? Cool. So yeah, if people are addicted to things such as, like I said, alcohol, drugs, sex, porn, those things are often things that are internal things as well, right? Because again, oftentimes people use alcohol or drugs or sex to avoid other areas of their life that maybe they're not happy with, right? Now, there's also been studies that people who are addicted to stuff such as porn, which I know is heavily a thing for people who are single, gay, lonely, because again, I know myself, and I know, I've like I said, I've dealt with hundreds of clients over the years. Porn is probably one of the things that actually really affects people getting into relationships or having relationships, because when they've done studies, it actually, what it does to the brain is almost similar to drugs such as heroin, right? The way that you connect to things in your brain is almost like you're on heroin, because it sees these things. So it becomes one of the most addictive things. And especially if you're lonely and single, and you feel like you need to, release things, because again, it is great at releasing dopamine, meaning it will release you from anxiety, stress, and also it'll give you a little bit of a high and a rush, right? So getting into those things as well will also hold you back from taking the step forward to actually having that. A couple of my clients came in with porn addictions, and when we worked on clearing them off from their porn addiction, that was the thing that was actually stopping them from going out, because they were almost blocking themselves energetically from getting out there. So alcohol, drugs, like that, again, healthy people, who want long-lasting relationships, don't want to date people who have these kinds of addictions and struggles. Again, I had to work through them myself to get to that place, like there, and I see it a lot. And when we look at addictions, they form in many different ways. And it's, as long as it's an unhealthy thing that's causing you pain or suffering in your life, it becomes an addiction. So it could be shopping, it could be something really simple, it could be video games, right? You could be sitting online on social media for 12 hours a day. I remember a couple of my clients there, when we were talking about dating, they said, I don't have the time to create a profile or do this. And when we looked at their life, they were sitting on Facebook for 12 hours a day. So if you're sitting on 12 hours a day of Facebook, I'm sure if we worked out your schedule and reshifted some things, you have time to do dates. You have time to go on dates, right? But usually what people say when it comes to, I don't have time, it's a defense mechanism to say, I'm afraid of getting hurt. I've gone through that before. Maybe I've done it and it hasn't worked out for me. I don't want to do it again because I don't want to get hurt. So addiction's a huge reason why gay men fail at falling in love, is because, again, if you're probably someone who is having an addiction and you've been dating, you'll probably realize you're also dating someone who's probably suffering with some sort of an addiction as well. Whether that's, again, most people, if you're out partying and you're dating someone in the party scene, it's alcohol, drugs, sex, right? Those are the things that usually are the common ones, right? Next one is that a lot of gay men avoid dealing with problems in life as well. And this comes down to us growing up and going through different experiences as people, right? Like I said, we have a lot higher mental health numbers in our community, and a lot of that is because we feel so isolated and alone, right? Sometimes from a lot of the studies that I've read, they even say that, some gay men will often feel more lonely after coming out than they do before, because before they were rejected from people around them. But when they joined the community and came out, they started feeling rejected by their own people. And that can be even lonelier, right? Now, the biggest problem there is that people don't realize is that there is no one else who can reject you. It is us rejecting ourselves. So for us to move past rejection, we actually have to deal with the real reasons why we're feeling those rejections. And again, oftentimes they relate to us growing up and not feeling maybe accepted from our family, our friends, or whatever it is. And then what happens is we go into dating or our community and we put those things or belief systems onto other people. So then we start looking for reasons why we're feeling rejected unconsciously. We don't do it consciously because we don't want to consciously get rejected, but unconsciously that's what's happening as well. So avoiding dealing with problems in life becomes a battle because people become so isolated and feel like there's no one out there. No one understands me. No one else has got this problem. It's only me in the world who's suffering like this. And that's what the biggest problem with having those with problems like that is, they isolate us, right? And so that's a big thing that we need to work through, is finding someone you can trust to help you through problems such as that in your life as well. Next one is a perfection mindset. Now, this is the mindset that happens to a lot of gay men, especially the gay men, which is kind of tied into internalized homophobia, because a lot of times people in life will push themselves to try to be perfect. I want to have the perfect job. I want to have the perfect body. I want to have the perfect partner, all of these perfection things. They put all the perfection ideas onto other people, because when they think of themselves as perfect, it means if I am so perfect in all these other areas, then me being gay won't be a problem. That's where it comes in, the internalized homophobias, because you're pushing and working so all of these things to prove yourself to everyone else, because you don't want people to think of you as less than for being gay. So that's a big how the perfectionist mindset happens in the gay community, is you push yourself to be the best and you please everybody else. I'm going to go and please everyone. I want everyone to like me. I want to be the best at my job. I want to, work out and have the best body. All of those ideals that you might see when you look at some people. When people say look at the gay community that rejects us, they might think of the stereotypical, person with the perfect body and all of those things, right? A lot of those people are in that perfection mindset. They're trying to be perfect to prove themselves to the world, dealing with internalized homophobia, because again, they think that their gayness is a weakness. And it might be seen that way. It might have been proven to them in their ways, which is why they have those beliefs. But in order for them to find someone and truly let that person in and be vulnerable, vulnerability isn't perfection, right? Vulnerability can be messy at times. Vulnerability is the truth. But when you're trying to be perfect, you put on a wall, right? I don't have any problems. I'm great. I'm amazing. I'm cool. Love me, love me, love me. That's what happens when you want to be perfect, is really acceptance and approval from everybody else. So those are the things that happen there. Again, we've talked about past trauma, right? As we mentioned with both with Rob, he had a lot of past trauma, and past trauma will affect us from taking action in the here and now. So if you've got stuff that's happened from you growing up as a gay man, if you've got stuff that's happened growing up in past relationships, if you've got stuff that's happened just in day-to-day life, right? Things happen, right? You might have seen something happen that's awful in life. You might be, had some tragedy in your family, right? Everyone out there in the world's dealt with some sort of tragedy, and it can lead to trauma. And then those things can lead into post-traumatic stress disorders, and also fears of actually moving forward. So if we don't deal with that, then the unconscious mind will not allow you to move forward. Even if you consciously want to move forward, the unconscious mind stores everything. So if we look at the conscious mind and the unconscious mind, on a day-to-day basis, there's, a million different things that are going on. We can only focus at our conscious brain on probably, a few things at a time. Your unconscious mind is taking in everything, right? So if something happens over there that you may not consciously aware of, it's taking it all in. So for us, our unconscious mind is controlling the conscious mind in the actions that we take. So for us, healing through past trauma, I do a lot of this through my master's in neurolinguistics programming. I've got a lot of techniques that I help people with to actually remove the trauma from their life so they actually move forward and take action. So that's a big thing there as well. Again, when we tried that there. Previous toxic relationships. If you've been in a relationship in the past and it's been quite negative or toxic for you, what's going to happen is you're probably going to realize that that's going to affect you moving forward. Because again, a lot of times when we're in toxic relationships, we don't really realize that oftentimes there's part of us that might be also to blame for some of the toxicity, right? Again, because again, healthy people don't date toxic people. So for us, in some way, we might have had some toxic traits that maybe our parents gave us. Maybe we had different relationship things that have happened. So for us, those things will be a scar to us if we don't do them. And again, they can become the past traumas that we need to move through and get past. There's also people have a fear of love and joy. Now, oftentimes why people fear love and joy is because maybe in the past, they've tied love and joy to something bad happening, right? Who's ever had something really like joyous happen in their life, and you feel great for just a couple of moments, and then you start to go, oh my God, what's going to happen next? Something's going to ruin this. And you start to think of all the things that could go wrong to ruin the moments you're in. I can see a couple of you nodding, right? That's the fear of love and joy. So when you're fearful of having the love and joy because you're in your mind, you start to go, well, if you know, what's going to go wrong now? Like this can't stay good forever. Like the cards are going to fall down, something's going to happen. So people are afraid of obtaining love and joy because they're afraid of, again, something bad happening. If I just stay here, then I can't have the fall down, because again, if you're in a joyous place, the fall down is, you know, if you move up, if you were on the first floor and you fell off, and you might have hit your bum and you might get hurt, but if you get to level 10 and you fall off and come crashing down, it hurts a hell of a lot more, right? So that's why people fear love and joy, which is why they struggle to get into relationships as well. A lot of gay men, and a lot of people in general, but gay men have learned unhealthy patterns of behavior, right? Now, depending on the way that you grew up, and, you know, we all have different upbringings, right? We come from different places. We might have, you know, our parents together. We might have them separate. We might have our parents who are in toxic relationships themselves, right? We learn probably 80% of the things in life from our parents, right? Because they're our caregivers. Now, a lot of those things will be unhealthy, right? And that's not necessarily, we can't always blame our parents, because they might have been learned and taught those things through their poor experiences, and we're just, you know, observing and learning them. But a lot of people will learn unhealthy patterns of behavior through their parents. Again, you might realize that if one parent is great at giving you love in this way, but the other person doesn't show love in that way. And so you get this mismatch of what you need to do to obtain love, and you start to feel like you need to manipulate things in order for you to feel loved. So then what happens is, if you do that, let's just say you start to get into a relationship, you start trying to manipulate your partner to get love. So these all happen from different attachment styles. Again, this is what I talk about in my group program as well, because when we know our attachment styles, then we learn how we can shift it and become, we don't have to have all these negative attachments to other people. And that's just us clearing out unhealthy patterns of behavior that we have learned over years, you know? Again, I had to do that as well from my upbringing, and from me healing it, I was also able to heal that relationship with my family, right? I had certain strained relationship with different members of my family, and when I was able to really understand this and work through those patterns and change them, I was able to see those family members in different lights, and then have a completely different relationship with them, because I couldn't blame them anymore. It wasn't them. They were taught negatively, and they've just been continuing the pattern. I broke the pattern, and then I was able to change that relationship. So these are things that happen when we work and focus on these things as well. Now, other things is that this is probably one of the key things, and this was probably the biggest struggle for me, was a lot of gay men don't know who they are. Like, when I say don't know who they are, if I was to ask any one of you, hey, Christopher, hey, Yessa, hey, Bradley, hey, Charlie, who are you? You might say, well, you know, I'm 37 and I live in Chicago, and I work at an office doing this and this, right? So because sometimes people say who they are, they start to talk about like statistics. This is my age, this is where I live, this is what I do for a living. But that's not who you are, right? That's just some facts about you, right? When we talk about who we are deeper, it's like on a deeper spiritual level, who actually are you, you know? And it's about knowing yourself inside and out. And that's one of the key things that I focus on with people, is because in order for you to be able to find a partner, you need to know who you are, first of all, and then you need to know what you want, right? Because if you don't know who you are and you don't know what you want, what's going to happen is you're like, we have this thing. If I don't know who I am and don't what I want, I have this wide open thing of just anyone love me, anyone love me, anyone love me, right? You've got this big wide open thing. But for you to, the more that you know who you are, the more you know what you want, you start to get clearer on that path, right? So when you're looking for people and you're maybe looking online and dating, you start to attract people who are in a match to that. But also when you know who you are and know what you want, you also know, okay, what do I need to do in order to get that? Because who I am right now might not be ready for what I want, because sometimes there's a mismatch. So it's about, like I said, getting clear on who you are, what you want, but then who do I need to be in order to get that? Because again, if who I am right now and who I want are different, it won't become a match, right? Because we need to be an energetic match, a real match for people in our life, especially when it comes to dating and relationship. So getting clear on you on that is one of the things that I do in the online program, the group program that we have. Is getting people to really uncover who they are, first of all, and what they want. Because when you can do that, you've almost you've half the battle is won. Is getting clear on those things as well. Don't believe in themselves or that they deserve it, right? A lot of people suffer from negative beliefs, limiting beliefs, right? Believing that, you know, if I don't believe that I'm good enough or that I'm deserving of love, am I going to go out and put myself out on the line today? No. If I think that I'm not worthy or that I don't deserve a partner, I'm probably not going to be online dating. I'm not going to go out on dates. I'm not going to do that, because if I don't think I'm going to deserve it, I don't want to go and be proven right, right? And if I go online with that attitude, that's probably what's going to happen, right? Because my beliefs are going to come true. Again, if I don't believe that there is someone out there for me, again, am I going to take actions or steps? So this is, again, a common thing where people hold themselves back, is people don't believe that there's a partner for them, right? In order for people to really get what they were looking for, is 1, know who you are. 2, know that you are worthy of love. 3, know that there is someone out there for you. And 4, know that it's worth doing the work in order to be the person I need to be in order to get that. So I can become a match and have that, right? People start with 1 or 2 of those things and they fail at the other ones. And then that's why they have really unrealistic expectations and get really lackluster results, because our expectations are too high, but we're not actually doing the work required in order of us to find what we want, right? If I want my partner to have all these great qualities, but I'm not doing any work to be there myself, then how can you expect your partner a potential partner to date you when you're not willing to come to the table on all the things that you're looking for them to do for you, right? Oftentimes people have all these lists of, I need this person to this, I need them to love me, I need them to be kind, I need to, to support me, I need them to all of those things. But 1, you're not loving yourself. 1, you're not being kind to yourself. 1, you're not supporting yourself. So those things won't be attractive to someone who is like that, because again, people want to feel like there's this level of reciprocity. What I give out is something that's going to come back to me, right? If I give love openly, I should get back love, because in giving, I receive. That's the key that people miss out on as well. A couple more here is that people don't know how to change, right? Don't know how to change, meaning that they get stuck in their life day to day, and they think that sometimes they think that this is how life is, all of my personality traits, all of the things that I'm doing, this is just who I am. People sometimes don't have the capacity to be self-aware, to realize, hey, this is who I have been. It doesn't mean this is who I need to be or who I want to be, right? So sometimes, again, if people get to that level, they don't know how to change. They don't know what to do. And again, sometimes people are trying to change, but they keep failing because, again, they're going about it the wrong way, right? Again, the fastest way to ever get success in an area is to find someone who's done it and who becomes an expert at it, and then master and learn from them, because that's how you get somewhere 10 times faster, right? Think of anything that you might have learned or studied or done from, especially when it comes to learning from an expert. Like if you depending on your careers, right? You might have had someone who was a mentor or someone who was in your team who was so good that they helped you to become better, and you wouldn't have been able to do that on your own. A lot of times people try to do it all on their own, and it might take them 10, 20, 30 times longer to get the result doing it on their own than getting help from someone else, right? Another one is some people don't understand how to be resourceful, right? Resources are all around us, right? If I'm looking for something and I really need it, if I don't have an option personally on my own, who can help me, right? I look for people to help me, because I know that if, like I said, what I just said is, if I want to get something, me trying to do it on my own is going to only make it harder for me. It's probably going to have me going around in circles and circles and circles and circles. Finding someone who can help me. And again, resources can be time, can be money, can be, people, right? Who can help me get something, especially when it's going to help me get what I really need in life, right? And then finally, the people that their inner saboteurs take over. Now, when we talk about inner saboteurs, these are the voices in our head that might say in a moment, you're not good enough, or don't do that, because our brain is there to keep us safe, right? And in order for us to grow, we need to not necessarily stay within, our comfortable zone. We need to sometimes push ourselves, right? And when we push ourselves into unfamiliar territory, we learn to maybe, our brain says, hey, look, this is new to me. Pull back. I want you to be safe. Go sit at home where nothing can happen to you. But in reality, we don't get what we want. We stay stuck and we stay small. So for us, we need to learn how to, we can't get rid of those inner saboteurs, but we need to understand, because there are, if we're in the program that I have available, there are 10 different inner saboteurs that I go into. That really makes sense. And when you understand them, you also understand how we actually learn to use them to our advantage instead of trying to run away from them as well. So yeah, well, that's a deep topic to talk about as well. Cool. So those are all the reasons that gay men fail in finding lasting love. So let's jump into the 5 foundations that we have here. And again, number 1, which is something that I've been talking about quite a lot, so you should understand it as well, is you attract someone that is a match to the energetic level you are at. So we've talked about this over and over again today, and I hope that you understand that concept, that again, for you to find someone that you really want, 1, know who you are, know what you want. And then thirdly, become a proper match to that. That's not just on the, that's an energetic level, meaning that I know what I want and that I'm being the type of person that will attract this, but it also means that, like, doing the things that I need to do within myself to get there. Because if I'm not doing the work on myself, how can I attract someone that is a match to me energetically? So for us, it's really about getting clear on the type of person that you want, knowing who you are, and then knowing some of the things that you need to do in order to get there, so that we can get you the kind of partner that you deserve, right? Being a match to that will really get you what you want. We talked about how healthy people want to date healthy people. Healthy people don't want to date toxic people, right? Toxic people will date toxic people. So it's knowing that if you want the kind of relationship that you want, you have to do some of the work on yourself to become a match to it. And that's great that you're here today to understand that and start doing that work on yourself. So that's foundation 1. Foundation 2, right? Again, what we've been talking about, getting clarity on who you are and what you want in a partner is how you attract the right person. So a lot of times, like I said, the biggest thing that a lot of gay men don't know is who they truly are, right? So some of the exercises that I get people to do when it comes to really figuring it out is, if I was to ask you to write a letter to yourself and say, and tell you all the things that you love about yourself, that would be a great way to start for you to say who you are, because you start thinking about different things. You're not going to say, I love that you're 37, because people don't write that. Hey, you don't say, hey, Christopher, I really love that you're 37 years old. When people start to write a letter to themselves saying all the things they love, they actually start to say, hey, Christopher, I really want to say that I love how kind you are. You're a generous person. You know, you really give your time to other people. You're supportive. You know, you see, when you write those things, you start to get you into a deeper process. So those are some key things that people can do. Same thing when it comes to what you want in a partner. It's writing a letter to your future partner saying, hey, Michael, I'm so grateful for our relationship and the way that you blah, 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 blah. Start writing things like that. You'll get a list of all the things that you're looking for. Because what often people don't realize is that when they start to write the list of who you are and what they want in a partner, that's when you can start to see where you're a match and where you're not a match, right? And it's about us figuring out the way forward to do that. So those are some of the key things that I do to help my clients really get clarity on that. Because like I said, for us, if you're wanting to attract the right person, you've got to do some of the work yourself to get there, right? And that's the powerful thing as well. So that's foundation number 2. Foundation number 3 is self-healing and growth is paramount to a successful relationship. Now, I'm not sure if any of you have been in long-term relationships before, or you might have been in some there, but you'll realize that throughout the relationship, your partner will be a mirror to things that you might need to work on in your life, right? You're going to go into a relationship in the best possible stand. That's what we want you to do, so you can find a healthy relationship. But again, in life, no one's perfect, and we all have things that we want to grow and improve upon. So for us, if we don't really work on doing the work, the healing work or the growth within ourselves, then what happens is we get stuck in some cycles and patterns. And sometimes we often blame the partner for showing us things about us that we're not happy with. So if you want to get in a relationship, a successful, happy, long-lasting relationship, and keep it, you have to continue to do the work. Just getting to the relationship is half the battle, but keeping it is the other half, because you have to be committed. Because there are times that I still have with my partner that I'm like, we get into arguments, right? And sometimes it gets to a point where I'm like, oh my God, like you're frustrating me today and I can't deal with you. That is normal relationship stuff, right? But what it means is that we then have to come and go, okay, what is it that you've done that triggers me? And what can I work on within myself so I no longer get triggered by that? And then how do I communicate that with you? Because again, there are all these different aspects of relationships that we need to understand: communication, intimacy, like really merging yourself together, like who's going to do what, like, I don't know if anyone, if you check out some of my, reels or things that I do on Instagram or Facebook, but I share a lot of things that, people don't necessarily talk about or deal with in relationships, right? Now, those things could be, topics that people don't always address and talk about. Could be money and finances, could be your careers, it could be your different family backgrounds, could be sex, could be intimacy, could be religious views, political views, who's going to do what around the house, chores, what are the fun activities you like to do traveling, right? Sometimes people don't ask these questions when they're dating, and then they might get into a relationship and realize, oh my God, this is not someone I want to be with. So what I work on with my clients is also like, while you're dating, ask yourself these questions, and then ask the partners that you're potential partners, these questions as well, because that's the quickest way for you to find out if they're a match, is by getting clear on yourself and how you view different areas, because your view of a relationship might be very different to the people that you're potentially dating. And so for you to have those conversations early on, we'll be able to, one, maybe open your eyes to something different, or open their eyes to something different, or make you realize that maybe this person isn't the right one. And then you stop wasting your time. You get to take time and focus on someone else. So self-healing and growth is paramount, and it comes from a lot of self-awareness, right? Not putting blame on other people for how you feel. We have to take responsibility for that. That's key. And that's a big part of self-healing and growth as well. So that's foundation number 3. Foundation 4 is relationships are a living entity and they actually need to be nurtured that way, right? Think of them like having a puppy, right? A puppy has different needs and different moods and different things, right? You know, some days you're going to be really happy with the puppy. It's cute, it's playing, it's fun. But the next day it could be shitting around your house or ripping up your favorite shoes. And you're going to be really shitty with that dog going, why did we even get this, right? That's the same thing as a relationship. It's a living entity and they need to be nurtured that way. They need to be seen as living because, again, you might be in the best place right now, but tomorrow something can happen between you two and you can be really in a pissy place, right? And if you're not focused on putting time and effort and energy into nurturing the relationship, what will happen is you'll have more of the instability, meaning that it'll be highs and lows, highs and lows, highs and lows. You're not looking for all the highs and lows. You don't want to keep having highs. You want to find this really nice stable thing where it has some peaks and valleys, right? Because the more it goes up, it's going to come down. So if you try to focus on keeping it at a steady pathway where it kind of maybe starts to lean upwards, that's what you want to have, growth there. Foundation 3, having growth for that. So knowing that, again, it is something living, that it is going to, there are two people in it, so it has more than one variable. That means that you need to both nurture yourself and your partner in order for it to grow. And your partner needs to also nurture themselves, right? You want to make sure that you're taking care of yourself, your partner's taking care of himself, and that you're taking care of the relationship, each other together. Because that will be something that will really be the foundation for you to have a healthy, happy, passionate, loving relationship, right? And so right now, if some of you who are single, meaning the most important thing you need to focus on is taking care of yourself. What do I need to do to be in a great place so that when I start dating, I start to be a great energetic level for that and start to be coming at it from the best possible way? So that's foundation number 4. Keep making sure you realize that this is a brand new living entity for you to be able to nurture it that way as well. Foundation number 5. Getting outside help is paramount to a healthy, growing relationship and finding long-lasting love. Again, in life, everything is about relationship. And if you are in a relationship with someone and you don't have someone else outside of it that you can talk to, or someone that you can look up to that maybe is good when it comes to relationships or understanding of some of the problems, then what will happen is you might not necessarily handle things the best way, or you might realize that you get stuck in situations. I don't know how many of the gay men that I've gone into who jumped into a relationship and it literally becomes their only thing in the world. They start to let go of their friendships. Maybe they're not as close with their family anymore, and they live in this bubble with this person. And that becomes really toxic as well, because if you're not allowed to maybe voice your thoughts and feelings and get other people's perspectives that you trust and value, especially when it comes to relationships, then how do you know that you're moving in the right direction? How do you know this is actually really what you want? Now, oftentimes this foundation is super important for us to really realize that the people who often don't have what we want are the people who are going to give you the most advice. So oftentimes people go to their single friends for advice on dating and relationships. Do you think it's wise to ask someone who maybe hasn't been in a relationship before what they would do in the situation that you're in? It's not smart, right? Sometimes to ask someone who's never been in that situation. So it's also paramount to make sure that when we are getting help, that we actually ask the right people. So again, if you've got someone who's been in toxic relationships, you don't want to ask that person for advice on relationships, right? If someone's been in lots of short-term relationships, you're going to ask them advice on how to keep their man, anything to do with staying in a relationship, right? So it's about really making sure that you have people around you that you can trust and say, hey, look, these people are examples of a great relationship or a relationship that I feel I admire, whether that's, again, a coach or a friend or a family member. You want to make sure you get that and that they know what they're talking about, because again, so many people give unsolicited advice from places that they don't even have any expertise in. right? I remember so many times going through my process, and again, because single people hang out with single people, especially when you're out, you know, partying and that, because those people are also probably in the same boat, right? So I was hanging around with these people, asking these people all for advice, and they give me advice, I'm following it, and I would stay in the same pattern. So it's about making sure that if you ask a question, make sure you know that it's from someone who's actually going to be able to give you an honest, truthful answer, right? And that was key for me, was getting help from other people that could help me on this journey. Because again, if I didn't get help and ask the right people, I'd probably be in that same cycle, still partying, still hoping and wishing and doing the same thing over and being insane, going out every weekend, hoping that I'd find someone, but not have done any of the work on myself to get healthy, to get happy, to find my own passion and really self-love, which was then I'm able to create that with my partner. So that's foundation number 5. Right? Now, here's some of the things that I often hear from people is, I've been lonely and alone for as long as I can remember. How can I change this and find a partner who loves me? Now, you might start to think about some of the things that we've been talking about today, if that sounds like you, right? I've been lonely and alone for as long as I can remember. How can I change this, right? So figuring out what you can do within yourself to deal with the loneliness, because again, loneliness is not like, loneliness will be there whether you have a relationship or not. So if you're a lonely person, you can get in a relationship, but the high chances that that person is also going to be lonely is very high. And you might realize that at the beginning that, okay, great, well, I'm feeling less lonely because we're together. But as things settle, the novelty wears off of the relationship, the loneliness kicks in. So what really needs to happen is to do the work on yourself. Like I said, heal some of that past trauma and work through the reasons why you feel lonely. Again, for gay men, 70% of gay men feel lonely. So to deal with that, it's about really looking at the journey of my life as a gay man and what is it that I want? Who am I? Getting clear on those things is key, because when we are able to do that, we start to get into a happier place. We start to get into a healthier place. And then we're more likely to do things, because again, most people who are in that lonely place are just looking for anyone. Like we said, we had those the pool of people is anybody. Anybody here, love me, love me, love me. But when you get to know yourself more and really love yourself more, you start to focus on attracting the right people in your life, right? And then you start worrying about the majority and you focus on the key things that you're looking for. So really knowing yourself, really working on yourself means that you will be able to get to that place. I've seen it time and time again from all of the clients that I've worked with in my career, right? Another question I get is, I go online dating and everyone just wants sex. How do I find people who want a relationship, right? Now, if this is happening, then the thing is that, again, it comes from the level of what you're attracting and what you believe. Now, if you believe that you're only going to find people online and that are looking for that, maybe is there a part of you that's also settling for those things as well? Because sometimes we say we don't want it, but we settle for it because we just want something, right? What we need to do is also then realize that maybe if I get to clarity and I work on myself, maybe going on Grindr isn't the place for me to find a serious relationship. Maybe I need to look elsewhere, right? Because as we know, Grindr is most likely a hookup app, and most people that I've worked with in the past go on there and tell me, "Oh my God, I only find people who want sex," but where they're looking is on that as well. So it's about getting to a place of working through and having your own standards, that when you go on there, you can change it. So this is a work on our mindset, changing that. The first one is dealing with the past. Second one is mindset. And then we'll be able to start to really look for people who are, who want to be in a relationship as well. We've got to start with us as well. And then finally here is, I've been hurt in the past and I'm afraid it will happen again. How can I get past this? Again, put your hands up if you've been hurt in the past, right? Right? We all have been hurt in the past. The problem is that in order for us to move forward, we actually have to deal with some of those things. Because what the truth of the matter is that anything that happens when it comes to core negative emotions, such as anger, sadness, fear, hurt, guilt, shame. They all have a root cause. So meaning that there will always be a moment in your life where you first were feeling shame, right? Maybe it was around your sexuality. Now, any time in the future that you feel something that could trigger you to be shameful, it brings back the memories of those first ones. So for us to move past the pain and get through so that we can actually shift and put ourselves out there again, we actually have to go back and work on the root cause, which is a lot of the work that I do as a master neurolinguistics programming person in coaching, is to actually clear people out from the negative stuff from their early childhood, which then allows you to start taking different actions because you see the world differently. So again, in this one here, if you've been hurt in the past and it's stopping you from taking action, it's about working through the stuff of the past as well. So that's just some of the common things that I get asked. So here is that part here. So what I'd really love to step into and share with you now is a brand new program that's just come out that I put out for people who are just in positions probably just like you. It's called the Love Attraction Online Program. And it's a program that I built out from hundreds of hours of coachings and trainings that I've done that have helped hundreds of gay men over the last few years. So I've got a myriad of recordings that I've put into an online platform that people can watch and learn, that are things that are just like this, but go into so much deeper level, right? We learn so much stuff, right? It's really designed specifically by me with gay men in hand, right? With all my research in gay men. And it's there to truly attract healthy, happy, passionate, loving relationships with another man into your life. And it's really going to help you heal, grow, and attract long-lasting love. So it's really about taking that next step forward for some of you who really want to get some help in, like I said, understanding who I am, understanding what I want, and how do I bridge the gap so that I can become a match to that as well. It's really about getting clear on that and working on stuff of the past, right? So what is included in the program, right? So there is a huge library of coachings and trainings where I've done that are just like this with me and a group of gay men, where I've taught a huge amount of topics. Like I said, we talked about things today where I mentioned there was the inner saboteurs, right? We understand what are the things that are happening within our brain that everyone goes through that if we understand and master, we can overcome. It talks about really the different attachment styles that we've had from growing up. You know, like I said, having a different upbringing with a parent will affect how we go into relationships, right? It's also about really understanding things such as love languages. How, if I'm in a relationship with someone and I like to receive love this way and my partner likes it that way, how do we get on the same page so that I feel loved, they feel loved? Because those things can really affect it as well. It comes down to also online dating, right? You know, how do I find the right person? How do I attract the right person? You know, I've got stuff that's in the program that helps with that, doing the work on you so you're ready to find the partner and attract the right person. There's huge amounts of trainings as well that's in there for you as well. There's an online platform which you can use on your computer, but there's also a mobile app. So if you're someone who uses your mobile all the time, there's an application and you can log in, you can get all the trainings and all the bonuses that come with it online on an app. So you don't have to be on Facebook, you don't have to be on Zoom. It's all done in the app that's going to give you the access to all of the material, right? But there's an online community of like-minded gay men on the same journey, right? There's a couple of, it's brand new, so I've only got a couple of people that have just joined in prior to coming to this as well. So there's a few people in there. So the community is going to grow. So there's going to be a community of other gay men that you can connect with, right? That will be on the same journey that you can become friends with. And who knows, might be able to find your partner as well. Because the thing is that like attracts like. And these are great opportunities for people to meet people, and who knows where it goes, right? It's about building that connection with other people in the community as well. There is an online forum as well, which is going to allow you to ask unlimited questions to me, meaning that throughout the time where you're learning, you might have questions. You can come and ask those questions, and I get back to every single one of those questions and give people advice on that. So you get my advice directly from asking as many questions as you like when it comes to anything to do with relationships or anything to do with life in general, because I am a life and relationship coach, right? So that's something that, like I said, my clients pay thousands of dollars to be able to do. especially when it comes to being on these calls as well. And then there's also an added bonus, which is a 1 monthly live Zoom call to support you on your journey. So meaning that you'll get on a call like this with me, but there's going to be an opportunity, a lot more opportunity for me to work with you on those calls directly. So wherever you're stuck in your journey of finding relationships, I get to help you directly live and help to give you some of those interventions that are needed that are going to that's going to just heighten your journey of finding love. So those are the actual features that you get in the program. Here's some of the major benefits that you'll get from doing this online program. So you're actually going to be able to understand yourself better, right? That's just part of it. If I know who I am, then I also is a key for me to get what I want, right? Understanding the world around me better. So you'll be able to understand yourself, how the other people operate, because when you understand yourself, you understand more people, right? You have a better self-awareness to connect yourself to other people, right? You also gain clarity on who you are and what you also want from a relationship. Like we told you, those are some of the key things to getting a relationship. This is the benefits of actually doing that. It's actually getting the clarity on that as well. There's a lot of stuff in there that's going to help you to have some major realizations, which are going to help you heal from the past, right? Because if we can really get to understand things and how they operate, it changes the way things work. And when we change the way they work, we can change the narrative, change the story, and move forward in a better way. It's also about, again, the key things are self-love and personal growth, because as we know, who we are today isn't going to be the same person we will be in 5 years' time. And if we don't actively choose to grow, we allow life to let it happen. And when we allow life to let it happen, oftentimes that comes with tragedy and trauma will make you change quicker than anything, right? So if you actively do it, then you don't allow the trauma to negatively affect you. You can actually positively change in the way that you choose to do that as well. And the key thing here is learn how to and actually attract the partner that you desire, like the hundreds of gay men that I've helped throughout before as well. Here's a couple of people who have gone through my programs, right? Now we've got Jay here on the left, and Jay came to me similar to Ron. He'd been in a few relationships, and maybe they'd been probably always went to probably about the 18 months to 2 year mark. At that point, something happened and it blew up and toxicity came into it. So he was always dating the same kind of person, and the same thing would happen. It was a pattern. Really where Jay was at was that he had almost got everything else in life that he wanted. He had a great business that was providing him great income. He was doing, he was living his passion. But his relationship and finding a partner he wanted to share that with someone. So he joined the program, and Jay is someone what I would call an overachiever. Jumped straight in, did everything that, we talked about and said within the sessions. And within a month, he literally found a partner, a completely different person that he would never have gone through. And you know where he found it, of all places? Just on Facebook. He was in a group for something else completely different, not looking for love. And because of that, and the work he'd been doing, it evolved into a proper relationship, right? And now they've been dating since March of this year. So 6 months now he's been in a relationship. All because of doing the work and jumping straight in and actually just knowing that this is what he needs to do. So Jay overachieved that and fantastic results straight away, which is super proud of, right? These are the things that you can expect, right? If you jump straight in and commit yourself, it's like it can happen as quickly as that, The guy on the left here, Sean, right? Sean is a new client of mine, right? And Sean, 40 years old, guy, pretty much never really been in any serious relationships as well. And pretty much, like I said, had pulled himself away from dating as well. Thought he was going to be single for his whole life. He's like, you know what? I've tried. It's not working. Within probably 2 months of him working with me, we did some work, and he had some stuff that happened that was tied to trauma related to his family and upbringing as well, right? Stuff that had happened traumatically that, is quite deep stuff, right? Sexual abuse, things like that. We had to work through that, clear out his attachment to that trauma, release him from that. And when we did that, we put him out there again. He's dating now. The first time he's actually going on proper dates. Whereas before, if he ever went online and chatted to people, he said he would either get called ugly or fat, or people would block him or things like that. Now he's on there, the same person, attracting and having great conversations and going on dates with people. He's working on finding a partner, but the thing is that he's only been working with me for about 3 months, so he's only been dating for a month now. But the fact that he's actually going on dates is a huge step, considering in the last 20 years he's probably been on 2 dates prior to that, right? So these are things that can happen if you've been holding yourself back. Do the work, see how those things can change, and you can be like Jay, or you can be like Sean as well, right? So why is it different? Why is this different program to other online relationship programs or anything like that? Well, this one has been designed specifically for gay men. 99.9% of things out there with relationships are focused with the straight community, man and a woman, understanding that. And I've done my research, so I know that, you know. So it's very difficult to have something that's specifically being designed for gay men and actually had research from hundreds of gay men over the years as well. So again, I've not only designed it with a gay man in advance, but I've tweaked it and worked on it because I have researched hundreds of gay men over the past few years. So I know exactly what's been causing people to fail at it, but I also know what the strategies are that work specifically for gay men, because there are strategies that are different that work for us that a straight person wouldn't understand, because they also wouldn't understand what's holding us back as gay men. So that's why it's big and different. And I've spent over $200,000 in my own healing and training journey, and I continue to do that because I know in order for me to reach more people and do more of the work, I have to work on myself. And I have to be better so I can be better for you guys and for all the other gay men out there who are looking for love. Because again, if 70% of gay men suffer from loneliness and 52% are single, compared to in the 30% for the straight community, there's a lot of work that I need to do in order to help people in our community, right? So this is just an amalgamation of all of that put together along with my own journey as well. So the price breakdown really, so for people who have actually gone through the coachings and the trainings and have paid for that, it's well over $10,000 worth of trainings online there as well. That's how much of value is in there, and people have paid to actually receive the trainings that'll be on the online library. Now, all of the weekly calls that I have with my clients, I break up and I take the major lesson and I put that into this program. And people are paying, you know, $800 to $1,000 a month just to be in that program as well, with the group program, to be live with me every single week. Having the opportunity to ask unlimited questions, like I said, my clients pay thousands of dollars to ask me questions that help them specifically. The fact that you can ask that here, it's well worth over $1,000 every month as well. Having an online community of other gay men who are just like you, looking for love, that's probably the thing that's priceless, because who knows what connections that can bring you, and friendships and a potential relationship as well. That could be priceless, right? Because finding love for you guys is priceless, right? I could not put a price on my relationship with my partner. I couldn't. You couldn't. If someone said to me, I'll give you $1 million if you give me your relationship, keep your money. I'm happy right now. I don't need it. You know what I'm saying? That's really, truly, honestly, I couldn't put a price on it. So you finding love and having a community of people around you is priceless. And plus, there's some additional bonuses that I'm going to share, which are definitely well over $800 worth of stuff as well. So here is what it again happens is in the program. So it is the library of all those coachings and trainings, which I said is well over $10,000. There's new coaching and trainings that are added every single week. So it's constantly worked on and improved and added to. You've got the online platform, the mobile app, the community of people that are just like you on the same journey, the ability to ask as many questions as you like, and you get that one live Zoom call every single month. And it all comes down to a great, amazing price of just $197 a month. And again, some of my clients are paying thousands of dollars to work with me every single month. So there's that as well. But amazing thing as well on top of that is, because I believe in it so much, I've given an absolute guarantee to people. It's a subscription model, so it's a month-to-month basis, so you can cancel that any time that you like. So if you were to go into it and you went onto it 3 or 6 months and you decide it's not yours, there's no ongoing payment. You don't have to pay something like some programs with that will say you're locked in for 2 years, right? I don't do that. I just want people to come in, get what they need. And if they stay around for it, amazing. But the thing is here, if you join the program and you're not happy with what's in there in 7 days, then I'll give you all of your money back. 100% money back guarantee, because I believe in this product so much that it helps people find love, because I've gotten hundreds of results in the past as well. So that's the guarantee as well. Also, because you guys are here online and it's a brand new program, I really wanted to honor you guys. And I'm going to give everyone the opportunity to get an amazing discount. And so instead of it being for all of the same things, $197 a month, for people who join here and join in the next 72 hours, you get it for just $97 a month. And that's for the rest of the time. So it's not going to go up to $197 the next month. It'll be $97. But after that time, it will go up to the regular price of $197 a month as well. So here are some other clients that have also, again, great results from my program. So you understand more. The guy on the left, James, one of my very first clients who still works with me today, came to me, struggled, never, ever, ever had been in a relationship, but deeper than that, the real problems that he was going through that had affected him was he was addicted to meth for 6 years. Spent no longer than 10 days without taking it in over 6 years. Tried to give it up, couldn't do it. Worked with him, and within about 3 months, we got him completely sober. Sober to the point where he now has been sober for over 500 days, right? And what we had to do the work on was that he had a lot of past trauma, again, that related to family stuff. His father abandoned him when he came out. He got sexually abused as well and had to deal with a lot of that stuff. So we worked through healing his trauma, and we got him clean from the addictions. And we've also got him into relationships as well. He got into a relationship that he was in for 6 months, and he actually was the one that realized it wasn't right for him. Now, for you guys, that might not be a huge thing, but for him, he was when he was at his point, he was taking anything he could get when it came to love and acceptance from other people. So for him to go out there and get to a relationship, date, and then say this isn't right, and get back out there and start dating again, that's huge growth, right? So he's now again actively dating and looking for love again and ready to find someone. And we're continuing to work on that for him because he deserves that. And like I said, to come from that place, he's there committed. And like I said, I know he's currently seeing someone, it's brand new, but he's feeling like this person's way more aligned to him than the previous relationship as well. Guy on the right, Mark, another great example. He was in a relationship when I first got there. He'd been in a relationship with his partner, and they've been together for about 14 years. And probably, he said, 10 of them had been sexless, loveless years. And he was at the point where he came to me probably really looking to make a decision as to how he could end that relationship. Probably. He was at that stage. It was going to be over so he could get out there, but he's in his 50s, and he was like, how am I going to leave this and find love again? We did so much work on his beliefs, his mindset, and shifting how he feels, and working on stuff that had happened in the relationship, that not only did he turn around how he sees himself in his relationship, they got engaged. Their relationship completely shifted. They're actually in love. They actually brought intimacy back into their relationship, and they actually got engaged and had their own little private ceremony that they did for themselves. So, again, doesn't matter where you're at when it comes to your relationship. You might be in a long-term relationship, you might not be, but you do the work on you. I'm not saying that if you do the work on you that this relationship that you might be in will be saved. But the thing is that when you realize that you are part of the problem, you also realize that you are part of the solution. So working on Mark and helping him to realize that he could change himself. And when he changed himself, some of those other things sorted out and his relationship got better. That was the big thing. And now he's happier than he's ever been. These are just some of the results, again, that you can get no matter where you are on your journey as well. So here's a couple of extra things that I wanted to add in to people who join and sign up within the next 72 hours, right? Because I know that there's some other things that can really, truly help, right? Now, number one is that you get access to my Confidence Mastery webinar online series, which will give you the confidence to get out there and date as your true authentic self. Now, I used to run masterclasses like this, but they were workshops, probably 3 or 4 hour events, and they were focused solely on confidence, because a lot of people who are looking for partners maybe struggle with the confidence to actually show up as who they are. They would pretend to be someone else, because maybe in life they've needed to be someone else but to get acceptance. So this was really deep level of confidence work for you to actually get out there, date, but date as who you are instead of who you think other people need you to be. So you get direct access to this program, which is an online amazing series of confidence workshops that'll give you exactly the understanding that you need, because like I said, I've helped hundreds of gay men through confidence areas as well. So that's $197 value that you get as well if you sign up to the program. Then number two is that you get a personal review from me of your online dating profile. So you get more dates by being authentic, right? Now, I know some of the biggest problems that people have is the way that they present themselves online, whether that comes down to their pictures they're choosing. Because again, I've worked with hundreds of gay men before, and I know that a lot of people, if you go online, the number one picture you get of people is this, take my shirt off, right? And you don't see people's faces, right? So if you want to be show up as authentic and real, it's about looking at your profile and going, if I was really looking at this, who am I attracting? And about understanding. So I have an online questionnaire that people fill out. Once I get through the answers, I then look at your page and I give you some suggestions on what you can do to get more dates by showing up as who you are, because I need to understand a bit more about you. So I give you a thing to read, like an online thing to fill out. And then I look at your profile and we go from there, and I give you some updates on that. So that's a $297 value. And to be honest, it's priceless. If you're someone who's been online dating and you just haven't been getting any results, it could be the way that you're presenting yourself online is key, right? Again, everything in life is marketing. So it's about really getting someone to look at you through the lens of that and saying, hey, if we just change some of these things, we're going to get you to attract a whole different type of people as well. That's bonus number two. And the third bonus as well is that I have a rapport building PDF, which is all about understanding how, when you go on dates, what you can do, how you can connect to people so that you ensure you get a second one if you want the second one, right? Because I know, again, from working with hundreds of gay men, that sometimes the dates just never get to a second one because we don't know how to truly connect to people. Now, the great thing is it says there's 30 best questions you should ask. Because this was created, I actually have added 40 now. So there's an extra 10 questions. So if you're somebody who goes on dates and you don't know what to ask, what to say, I give you an understanding of all about rapport building, why it's important, what you need to do, and then the 40 best questions you can ask on a first date that will make sure that you connect, understand the person to see if you really want to go on the second date, right? So this is for people as well who struggle to get second dates as well. That's bonus number 3. So again, just quickly running through the benefits of the program, and then we'll have a few minutes that you can ask me some questions. So again, it's understanding yourself better, understanding the world around you better, gaining clarity on who you are and what you want from a relationship, helping you heal from the past so that you can actually move forward in the right direction, self-love, personal growth, and then truly learning and actually being able to attract the partner that you really, really want. Again, here's all the things that you have in the program. Again, such a big library of coachings, trainings, new are added every single week. Again, it's an online platform where you have a community of other gay men and a forum to ask me unlimited questions, along with the 1 monthly Zoom call for you on that journey. And again, it's all $97 a month, which is available for 72 hours. And now I'll get you to drop the link into the chat. So if anyone wants to have a look at it and go ahead with it, you can do that as well. So if you can pop that in there, that'd be great. And then finally, again, for anyone who wants to is really serious and committed and wants to join up in the next 24 hours, like I told you, I have my group program. You all get access to come to one of my weekly group calls where you get to work and see what it's like to work with me and my high-end VIP clients and actually get to be a part of it as well. So that's really a $200 value. So you get to come and join one of those if you join within the next 24 hours. And that's again with my VIP high-end clients. Some of the ones that you've seen on the list of people today as well. So that is all that we have when it comes to the program. So I trust it's been valuable. I'm super excited to get the chance to now open the floor up for any questions and answers that you will have for me. So let me just quickly change my screen over here to see you guys, and I'll allow any of you guys who want to put your hand up. We'll allow you to unmute, and you can ask me any questions that you have so I can help you on this journey. If now you can allow people to unmute, that would be great. Anyone here have a question or a comment or a share about today? Don't be afraid to ask anything, right? Oh, you're on mute. Bradley, did you want to ask? Can you ask to unmute yourself, Bradley?
I don't have a
there you go.
but rather just to say that you did a great job in presenting your information. So that's all I have for you.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Bradley. Appreciate the kind words, and I'm glad that it came across in the way I intended it.
There you go.
So, Bradley, just quick question for you then. Where are you at when it comes to your journey of finding a relationship or relationships in general?
Well, I've been in one for 14 years. So I think it's good. There's we have a little bit of a difference when it comes to frequency of sex and things like that.
Yeah.
But we work through that. And so anyway, that's I think the biggest issue that we have. But aside from that, it's all pretty good.
So when you say the sex, is that sex or intimacy that you feel is lacking or not as at the level that you'd like it?
Intimacy.
Intimacy.
Well, I'm talking about like sticking it in. That's where I'm headed.
What was that?
I'm talking about like, penetrating the other. So,
I understand that. But oftentimes from, like I said, I've worked with hundreds of gay men over the years and people in relationships when there is a lack of actual sex, it usually comes down to a lack of real intimacy within the relationship. That's what I'm curious to know is it more the sex that you're feeling is lacking, or is it really true intimacy, connection, closeness to each other? And again, 14 years together, from my experience, again, just like one of my other clients that we shared before, the intimacy can fade if it's not continually, worked on or improved on.
right. I think it's not a matter of it not being great, because it is, but at the same point in time, one of us, and it's not me, has a much stronger desire for sex more frequently than the other, than me. So anyway, it's not out of a dislike of it or anything like that. It's just we've got two different schedules, things like that, and so it's he's not getting as much as he would like.
Yeah. And I'm hearing you saying it's different schedules, this and that. When I hear those things, and this may not be true to you, and you tell me if it is. Oftentimes, people will have a list of different excuses, and if it wasn't that, it'd be something else. So, really, if I was to ask you the deeper reason as to why you see a difference, and there wasn't an excuse, what would the deeper reason be?
I don't really think there is one. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm curious, Bradley, because if there wasn't one, then what would be how come you haven't worked on trying to shift schedules or made things a priority or done things, right? Because again, people, if they're those are the things that are real, people make them, and it's not those things, and those little those are the little things that are in the way. People actually work on those and change those. So I'm curious. Pardon?
We've done that. So things were one way. We tried to pick them up. We got them picked up to a certain level, but at the same point in time, then it became about different schedules. And I'm talking about like really different work schedules.
And this is not something that you want to change.
No, I think it's fine. It's just one of those things where it's got to be kind of right for both of us. And really, I think it's for me to um, say, let's get it on, more than for me to hope though Tracy would ask, because he's always asking. So it's the ball's in my court. So, but that's just me.
And that's the one thing, it's just you, right? The ball's in your court and it's just
Yeah.
you.
Yes.
And that's I guess why I'm where I'm trying to go with that is that when it's just you, meaning that there's something that's holding you back from maybe going there further or more often, right? And can't just be the work schedule, right?
Well, I suppose it could be.
If you have different work schedule, right? So,
Yes.
and Hugh said he wants it, he'll take it whenever, he wants it a lot more. So whenever you want it, he has it. The problem is that it seems like you don't maybe want it as much.
I think that's probably true in general, but I think overall, um, some guys just like to have it more than others. So, and I'm on the out of a level of 1 to 10, I'm at a 5, and he's at an 8 or a 9. That's all I can give you.
Yeah, I think that I sense there's something deeper there, and that's okay. You don't have to share that now, and maybe you'll ponder. What I'd love for you to do is ponder on that and go, is there something deeper for me as to why there is such a mismatch from that? Because if you don't want to improve or grow or shift your relationship, which is why I believe you're here, then that would be something that I would say have to think about. And if you come up with something, feel free to send me a message because I'd love to hear that. How's that sound, Bradley?
That sounds great.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, appreciate you sharing that, Bradley.
Okay.
What about yourself there, Christopher Yatta? I'd love to hear maybe a couple of thoughts from you guys. How was today for you? Is there anything that I can help you with?
I want to thank you so much for the time that you gave and for the information. And no, I don't think I can, I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for that. And yeah, so what about you? Where are you at when it comes to your relationship journey?
I am on the Tinder app trying to find someone.
Yeah.
I believe I am ready for a new relationship. I have been in one for 6 months, and that was the maximum of it. I had to leave. But I am happy with my situation now, and I'm willing to be sharing my life with someone.
Yeah. Okay. And so what happened with the previous relationship?
It's just different situations in life, and I had to leave the country, so I couldn't continue with him.
Oh, okay. So you moved overseas then?
Yeah, right.
Got it. And now you're online dating again and trying to find someone for you to really connect
Yeah.
with.
Yeah.
If you didn't have to leave, do you think the partner that you were with before would have been someone that you would have been with for the rest of your life?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, then so if that's the case, then how come you couldn't make it work some other way if this person was there for life, right?
No, I couldn't. There was no way I stay in the country. I had to. I
Yeah,
had to leave.
you had to live there then, but what about working something out for the future for either one of you?
I believe he was so confused after me leaving. He kept going back and forward, like I didn't really know if he wants me back or not. So he wasn't clear about that.
So is it that it was the right person or was it the right circumstances?
For myself, I don't think it's, I mean, I believe I would love to continue with him, but he wasn't really sure about that. And I don't know why the reason, I don't know exactly what is the reason, but I think when I left, he felt confused.
Well, how good was your communication with each other?
I was trying all the time to be in a good communication, asking about him and following up his news. But after a couple of years, he blocked me.
He's blocked you.
Yeah.
So you've been gone for a long time then?
Yeah, I have been trying all the time to keep the connection because I am hoping to come back to the country. And I just was surprised that after a couple of years, he blocked me and he didn't want any connection again. So that's why I'm saying he's confused.
And do you feel that there's part of you that's also confused?
No, I don't think so. I'm clear. I'm clear that I really appreciate his time, the thing that he did for my life. And I am positively sure if he is there, I will be with him. But I'm not stopping at that phase and posing my life for him. I'm moving on and I'm trying to find another one.
Yeah, because oftentimes when I hear people who say he was confused or he is confused, there's a level of us who's also not clear, and we're also the ones in the confusion, right? So what we want to think about in those moments is, okay, it's not, I can't change him, but what was within me that I can work on so that I can take into the next relationship and not go down the same path, right? Because communication, and like if this person is the one, instead of us wanting it to be the one, but there's a difference between them being the right person and us wanting them to be the right person, right? It's about really us really getting to have clarity on who we are and the right type of person, right?
Yeah.
If it was correct and you were on that same path, then he wouldn't have blocked you, right? So something's happened where there's confusion on both sides to get to that place, you know, because good communication, I mean, really great communication in the right relationship, that situation wouldn't have happened. If that makes sense. Yeah.
I don't really agree with that because I know myself. I have been very clear that I want him to continue with me or at least to be there when I come back. But he was ups and downs. He was coming sometimes and being very communicative and open, and sometimes he disappears for a couple of months for no reason. It's just like that. So I can see that he's in a confusion phase, but I wasn't. I was very clear, and I didn't do anything differently.
And that's I guess the point that I'm trying to say to you, Yether, is that you're saying that he is the right person for you.
Yeah.
But then he is hot and cold, up and down, treating you not well. Yeah. And then you still say he's the right person for you. So do you see how there's a level of confusion between, if that's what you want, you've got exactly what you want. You've got all the confusion that you need. But if you really worked on it and said, hey, look, this is for me to have a partner who I really want to be with, who loves me and supports me, would they do that to me? Would they be hot and cold with their communication? Would they ice me out for a few months? Would they then come back, you know, a few months later and block me? Do you know what I mean? But when you accept that and allow that to happen, and it's been a few years now, there's a level of confused about what you're actually looking for and what you want and what you deserve. So it's about me. That's what I'm trying to say when it comes to the confusion is, if that's what you want, you've got it. If that's the perfect relationship for you, you've got it. You know what I mean? No,
it's not a relationship. No, it's not.
So you've got to get through that part of me saying, hey, this is what I deserve to actually attract a different kind of relationship.
Yeah. That's what I realized recently. And that's why I started doing the apps to be ready for another one.
Yeah, you've got to do the work internally first so you don't go through the same mistakes, because patterns will come back to us if we don't work on it. But appreciate you sharing that there, Yether, yeah?
Thank you so much for asking. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And what about you, Christopher? Oh, you're on mute still.
Okay, I think I got it.
There, you got it.
I have a question about online dating because it's been 4 years since me and my ex broke up. And I've tried online dating on Facebook, and it seems like every relationship with every guy I've talked to, it turns out good for like a month or two, and then it ends up all about them asking me for money. Like, oh, I'll move down to your country, but you have to send me money. It's like, I don't have the money to give them.
Yeah.
And it's just guy after guy that does that to me. So I
Yeah.
kind of don't trust the online community.
That's Christopher, is what one of the things we were talking about when we said, do we continue to see that we're dating the same kinds of people, right? And they were on short little things, and it's the same things that happen. It's a pattern, right? And so that happens when we're in a place of not fully knowing ourselves and what we want, right? Because when we don't know
Yeah.
ourselves or what we want, we allow anything in, right? So if I'm online and chatting to someone and they're just being nice to me, then I'm going to accept that, right? Because we've got that wide open filter. The more I know what I want, who I am, what I want, who I want, you get to narrow it down, right? And then you work on becoming a match to that, and it becomes this, like you're almost laser focused on that. And all these other conversations don't happen. But when you're accepting anything, you're accepting everything, right? That means all of
Yeah.
those things, especially when it comes to scamming people like that. It's because you're just hoping, hope this works out. I hope this works out. I hope someone loves me. I hope someone loves me. You know. So really, what you need to work on, Christopher, is getting to know yourself, getting to know what you want, and working on the reasons why you've been going through the same patterns. Because then we can work past that. But then we can move past it and find exactly what you're looking for. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Great. Well, like, yeah, there's a lot of that stuff that happens in the online programs. If you're someone who's interested in that, have a look at it. This, that'll get you exactly what you need. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Great. Well, I think we've come up to time today. So first of all, just wanted to thank you all for being here today. Really appreciate your time and your energy and for staying through to the end. Like I said, it's been an honor to help so many gay men over the years, especially when it comes to love and relationships. And I look forward to working with some of you in the future. So wherever you are, if it's, the evening, enjoy the rest of your night, maybe go to bed, have some sleep. If it's the daytime, have a fabulous day. And I look forward to chatting with you all very, very soon.
Thank you. Thank you
Thanks
so
so
much.
much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.
Hello.